now Tal Heinrich, spokesperson for the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. She's joining us live from Tel Aviv. Thank you for your time. I'd like to begin with the World Court and these accusations of genocide from South Africa. Would you like to add to Israel's response to this?
Well, you just played a soundbite, Marni, of my colleague Elon Levy from today's daily briefing of the National Public Diplomacy Directorate here in the Prime Minister's office. And as my colleague said, this is a vile accusation. It lacks a legal and a factual base, and we will make our case in court. You know, it's a pure blood libel coming from South Africa, the same country that 23 years ago hosted the hate fest in Durban that deemed Zionism as racism. You know, Zionism, the concept that Jews have an undeniable connection, biblical, historical one, to our ancestral homeland. And we will make our case in court. But the use of the term genocide is just outrageous, and it's offensive to the memory of the Holocaust and its victims.
The humanitarian crisis that we're seeing play out in Gaza, the images a moment ago, and the concerns over famine are undeniable. What is Israel doing to address this, and how is it impacting the military strategy?
We are making unprecedented efforts to ease the civilian suffering in Gaza. We place no limits on the amount of food, water, medical supplies that are allowed to enter, that we facilitate every day. And as your reporter stated correctly, the congestion is not on our side. We have excess capacity to inspect these trucks that are coming in. As you probably understand, we must monitor and we must inspect these trucks because we don't want to see weapons coming in, serving the Hamas war machine. But we're really taking unprecedented efforts here, and Hamas are doing exactly the opposite. They want these images that you just showed. They are responsible for the images that are heartbreaking, honestly heartbreaking, and they're stealing the humanitarian aid that is coming in, something that the many international agencies and aid groups, unfortunately, did not acknowledge, although they witnessed it.
The reshuffling of the troops is significant. Is this a scale back or, as you heard reported, a response to what you all are seeing and preparing for in the north with Lebanon?
So it's a natural reshuffling of the troops and deployment after nearly 90 days, I should say, of war against terrorists, the war that Hamas has dragged us into when they launched the October 7th massacre. We are doing this based on what's happening on the ground, the necessities of this war, and in accordance with the goals that we have defined, which are to eliminate the Hamas terrorist regime, to make sure that Gaza will never, ever pose a terror threat to us again. And of course, we must bring every hostage, 129 of them still being held in captive, home.
You say 2024 will be a dead end to terrorism. What do you see differently, and Israel's role globally in this fight?
We are sending an unequivocal message, Marni, to all bad actors, bad players around the world. We are hitting Hamas hard because, as you know, many other bad actors, if it's Iran and its proxies across the region, and not only, there are cells in different parts of the Western world, in Europe, of course, that need to understand that terrorism in the year 2024 is simply unacceptable. What we have witnessed here on October 7th with the murdering, with the butchering, with the mutilation, with the raping, with kidnapping can never, ever happen again. So for this reason, we are acting very decisively right now against the Hamas terrorists.
The Israeli Supreme Court struck down that so-called basic law. Big blow for the Prime Minister. How is he responding to this development?
Well, the Prime Minister hasn't responded yet, but what I can tell you is that my country is not really dealing with politics right now. The judicial reform is a divisive issue, and I know that NewsNation has been covering the very fierce public debate that we had here in over the past year, I would say. But what happened on October 7th really united everyone from across the political spectrum, right, left, center. When Hamas terrorists butchered us, they didn't care who we voted for. They didn't care if someone is against or for the judicial reform. So right now we're focused on one thing alone, and that is a decisive victory over the terrorist regime that rules Gaza.
I hope you're right. 2024, a dead end to terrorism. Tal Heinrich, thank you for your time this morning. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.